That was a damn fun football game last night, man.
It's a nice little dueling.
We just watched the MVP. That's what we watched.
Jesus, man.
Dude, Lamar Jackson's awesome, man.
He's so good. He's so good. He's better than last year.
Burrow was great, too.
He was.
But it was also a combination of how great Jamar Chase is. Like, that's an incredible 1-2 punch. But when I watch Lamar, I look there and I go, that's the best quarterback right now, the way he's playing in the league. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to beat Kansas City when the Chiefs take them on and versus Patrick Mahomes. But if you're looking at your MVP right now in the season, and I know there's some people who think Josh Allen would be up there too, and he is. But the only reason why we look at Lamar Jackson and we don't think that he should win the MVP is because of what he hasn't done in the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you think about it, I mean, one, it's not a postseason award. And on top of that, we never held other quarterbacks to that standard. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, like, did we ever talk about for that period of time before Manning got his second in Denver, which was largely led by the defense? We never said that. We were just like, hey, if he's deserving of it, he gets it. So I'm not sure why so many people keep trying to hold up Lamar Jackson to this postseason standard of what has he done. He's been incredible throughout the entirety of his career in the regular season.
Yeah, that was, and I think kind of I was going into the season with like, well, you know, he won it already. It's not like he's going to do it again. No, I mean, he's probably going to do it again. And he's better this year, I would say, than he is last year. And last year was the MVP. And when you saw the game last night, it felt like one of those Ravens games that we've talked about before, to where it's like, right when you think, all right, this is the team I'm going to ride with, they have a letdown, a game against the Raiders, a game against the Browns, and then the second half came out. There was that fumble by Cincinnati, and they just never looked back. And Cincinnati couldn't get a stop on defense, and they were just dealing from there on out. So that was fun, man.
Burrow was dealing, though. He was dealing. They were playing now. It was a game. And listen, it's nice when you can see two old school AFC opponents duel it out the way that they did. You know, that made
put
for
up points.
But they put up points. I mean, it is what it is.
What you're saying?
I mean, it is what I'm saying. I mean, they did put up points, and it was interesting though, for all the good things that Joe Burrow did in that moment of truth. It was, I don't know, was it a bad decision to throw the ball? Were there some penalties that were left on, you know?
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, you know, I just –
he took a beating, too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he did get hit.
There were some blatant missed calls.
In terms of pass interferences and stuff like that, I mean, it just seems like –
well, personal foul, too.
Personal foul.
You can't hit a quarterback in the helmet like that.
Yeah, I mean – and it's funny because generally speaking, when you see a quarterback get touched, there's a flag that comes out. So how does that work?
Right.
You know,
I think they missed two hands to the face. There was the other one too, to where Herb Street was like, "Yeah, I think it might have been." And then the more they closed in on it, like, no, that was like a legitimate grab of the face mask that was missed that they didn't call. Yeah, he took a beating last night. Burrow did talk about some of the missed calls following the game afterwards. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, you're not getting those calls in that situation for the most part.
A couple maybe potentially late hits on United that didn't get flagged. Do you feel like that's the point?
I feel like I've never really gotten those calls, so I don't really expect that. I felt like there were a couple that were close, but again, I don't expect those.
So just kind of wearing it.
The Ravens defense.
Whoa, what's he saying? That he said Mahomes would have gotten him, but he doesn't get him. Is that what he's saying?
Apparently that is,
That what y'all think he was implying?
Yeah, we can't catch a break, can we?
Well, that might have been what he was implying.
Mahomes gets those calls. I'm
Mahomes
sorry.
gets
At the end
every
of the game,
call.
Mahomes gets those calls.
If you have bad breath and you breathe on Mahomes during the course of the game, you're getting a personal foul penalty.
If you have one of Lee's leaky farts and it slips out,
you're getting
Mahomes is getting that call.
You're getting a call. You're getting a call.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but I'll say this. I think this was said on the show maybe yesterday or the day before. There are a few teams that can stand up to the Kansas City Chiefs. If Baltimore continues to play the way that they're playing, And that's a big IF because for some strange reason, they always give us a game where it makes you lose your confidence in what it is that you think they can do.
I'm telling you, I thought that last night was that game again in the first half.
They get you every time.
So I just assumed, here we go.
They get you every time.
Yes.
But Baltimore and Buffalo, and I'm curious to see how Buffalo plays this weekend because this almost seems like this is heading towards like almost like a freight train type of collision course. And these teams, these elite teams, are showing one another how elite they are. You know, last night, we can look at Cincinnati and we can call them a lot of things based off of what they haven't been able to get done this season. But that's still the Cincinnati Bengals that has Joe Burrow. And I think you could see that last night.
You know what I was thinking when I watched the game? I wish Cincinnati was in the NFC. If they could just
they'd
get
be
the
one
hell,
of the most elite teams.
If they could just get the hell out of the AFC, that team would be
AFC North.
Even the AFC North, yeah.
The North.
Put them in the South. Put them anywhere but the AFC North, and their playoff team.
I think it's going to be interesting coming down the stretch to see how those three teams play because Kansas City is the team that we'll say is the best team in the league, but they don't play the best football, which is kind of a, is that a conundrum? Is that a, kind of a, what's the word you use when it's like it's something, but it's not that, but it is that? Like they're the best team by record, but they're not the best team.
A calamity?
No, it's not a calamity. That'd be bad.
Ooh, a facade?
Not a facade. Not a facade. It's I don't know. It's like
a delap.
Maybe that might be it right there. It's a delap.
Okay.
It's a delapism. Anyway, I just look at this Kansas City Chiefs team and I say going into the playoffs. Dichotomy is a good one. That's an interesting dichotomy. That's a good one.
Even if it's not right, it's just a good word.
It wasn't the word I was looking for. Maybe it is conundrum that I was looking for. Maybe that is the word I was looking for.
Conundrum could work, yeah.
Yeah, it does work. It just doesn't seem like they should be considered the best team in the league, even though they're undefeated. But they are the best team in the league, and they're undefeated. But I think watching Baltimore last night, and hell, even watching the way Cincinnati played last night, I would say both of those teams, the way they played last night, could beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
Cincinnati.
Wow.
I hope they're a 7 seed because whoever's the 2 and
they might be in trouble.
Yes,
they might be in trouble.
I don't want to see Cincinnati.
Cincy could be a sleeper. Like they definitely could be that team that knocks off a team that wasn't supposed to leave as early as they were planned to leave in the playoffs. And there's Buffalo. There's Buffalo and there's Baltimore. And if you're asking me who's the best team, I'll say the hottest team, I guess. It is Baltimore. But I'm not so sure Buffalo can't take that title as well. So I think it's shaping up to be pretty interesting to make it out of the AFC because that's the gauntlet. And then now you got the NFC where it's like, what is the gauntlet in the NFC? It's the easier road travel. It's the easier path to get to the final game. But is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Is the best team in the NFC able to beat one of those three teams? Because I think it's going to come down to one of those three teams. Kansas City, Baltimore, Buffalo. One of those three teams are going to the Super Bowl. Is the best team in the NFC, which is considerably, like most people are saying, that's Detroit. Is the best team out of the NFC going to be able to stand up to one of those three teams? I think that's it's going to make for an interesting setup for the Super Bowl, but I think that the playoffs on the AFC side is going to be nuts.
Yeah, that's it's stacked every year. This year's going to be a lot of fun.